Hey everybody, today's lesson is going to be on chord spelling and chordal harmony. Hopefully by the end we're going to understand how chords function and how we can build our own chords with that knowledge. So I'm going to list a few various types of chords here: major, minor, dominant or 7, minor 7, major 7, I like to draw a triangle, sus2, sus4, a 6 chord, a minor 6 chord, a 9 chord, an add 9 chord, a diminished chord, augmented, and a 5 chord or power chord. And here we've got them written out. So a major chord is 1 3 5, a minor is 1 flat 3 5. These are like the formulas that teach you the ingredients that you need in order to make those specific chords. Let's start out with a chord that a lot of us are familiar with on the guitar, the first position, D major chord. Firstly, we're going to spell out the D major scale. D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp. That's going to give us all the notes required for the major scale. Under each one of these, I'm going to assign a scale degree. Now let's go ahead and make that shape that we're all familiar with, that kind of downward facing triangle that we like to remember when we're thinking of the D major on the first position of the guitar. When we're looking at a chord chart, it's important to remember and take note of which strings are not played and which are open. So here we've got XXO to tell us that the D string is open. Now let's go ahead and spell out the actual 1 5 1 3 or D A D F sharp. Now, if we want to, we can change that 3 into a flat 3. I've marked that here in red. So if we flatten the 3, meaning we take the 3 that exists in that first chord and we move it down, we are going to then create a minor chord. And the minor chord shape looks like this over here. That's going to take the F from an F sharp to a F natural because we've flattened it, or we've put a flat 3. We've flattened the 3. For my next example, I'm going to take the 1 here, and we're going to move it down 2 steps in order to flatten the 7, or to add a 7 and then flatten it. So it existed as an octave that we flattened it. Here are some other examples. Go ahead and pause the screen now and take a look. All right, let's try that again. I'm going to go ahead and draw out a chart. This time our example is going to be based on first position A major chord. So there's no 6th string root on that, and the 5th string A is open, and that chord is spelled A, E, A. There's another E over here, and C sharp. So as before, we're going to relate our chord to its given major scale. Here I've got the scale degrees written out. So this is going to give us a 1 5 1 3 5 spelling. And that means that it's a major chord because it contains 1, 3, and 5. Not necessarily in that order, but those ingredients are present in certain quantities. So this is a unique thing about the guitar. So here we've got the 3. So if we flatten that 3, here I'm marking it in red, that gives us a minor chord. And you can see that shape over here, how it's pretty much very similar to the one that we see already. Now if we want take this 1 and we move it down 2 steps, giving us a flat 7, then we see the chord shape for A7. If we do that same position just down a half step, we get a major 7. Now we've got that upward triangle shape that's going to give us a major 7. So now if we take the flattened 7 and the flat 3, and we combine it over top to create this shape, you might recognize this as the A minor 7 shape. Starting to make sense how we're just basically shifting notes around from that major chord. And with this knowledge, we're able to create many, many new chords. All right, let me give you some more examples. Here are the ones that I've gotten so far. Let's try a few more. Okay, let's go back to that 3. Now, instead of flattening that 3, what happens if we sharpen? we move up by half a step. Well, in this case, that becomes a sus4 shape. And that's going to look something like this. You see, so we took that A major and we modified it to become an A sus4. Now what if we take that and we flatten it even further? Then we're going to end up with a shape that looks like this. What do we call that? A sus2. Okay, now let's take that 5 and move it up 2 steps to create a 6. So now we've got 4 in a row, which we can call an A6 chord. This can be played with one finger as a half bar chord. So that's going to give us our A6 chord. Now it's starting to look kind of messy. We got lots of colors on our chart. I'm going to do one more example, and this time I'm just going to draw right over top of everything to help you see it a little bit better. So for this chord, we're going to use our 1, 5, another 1. We're going to use that flat 3, and also use that 6. You see that? So this is spelling out A minor 6. Well, I hope that helps. And now that you have this information, I want you to go and try and play those first position guitar chords that you already know. Figure out what the chord spelling is and start moving some of those notes around and see if you can't create some new chords or more interesting and dynamic harmonies. Good luck, everyone. Take care.